Caaf Reservoir is one of several reservoirs lying to the west of Dalry. It was opened in 1906 by the Irvine and District Water Board. Lying above it is Knockendon, and below it is Old Muir, and not far away were the old Monarch reservoirs. Caaf Reservoir hasn't been used as a sort of fresh water for drinking for some years now. The plan was to completely return it to a natural state. There were problems with the accumulation of silt, which was escaping and causing pollution downstream. It's liable to be retained, possibly for anglers. Most of its water came from the Caaf water. However, it does lie below the catchment area of Gill Hill, Green Hill, and Ladyside Hill. The flooding of the valley here had quite an effect on the local community. This had been an ancient barony, the barony of Giffordland. Gifford Farm still survives downstream. The Giffords gave way to the Crawford family, and the Crawfords had a farm which became known as Birkhead, more recently Birkhead. It seems that when the council took over and built the reservoir, they restricted the use of the land, not to mention the land lost to the reservoir, and it was let to tenants. The council sold Birkhead Farm to its tenants in 1986. However, the other farm that lay at the top of the glen, called Birkheadsteel, originally steel. Steel is a word that means a steep slope which is wooded. This had been flooded by the building of the reservoir. Also, the remains of the original Birkheadsteel Birdge are still there. A new one had to be built as the road was diverted. It was flooded by the effect of the reservoir's construction. Close to the site of the demolished Birkheadsteel Farm stands the Pyet Knowe. A pyet is a magpie, so for some reason the woodland took this name. Probably being a woodland, it was fairly rich of bird life, and the name has stuck. Crawfords of Birkhead or Birkhead were a cadet branch, that is a branch derived from one of the sons of Crawford Castle being in East Ayrshire. In their day, the small estate seemed to also have the farms of Wardlaw, which still survives, and also Knockendon. The Crawfords of Giffordland and of Birkhead were a small family, and they lost members at the battles of both Pinkie and of Flodden. Probably explains why they refused to attend the Battle of Coldingham when called by Mary Queen of Scots, and for this they were heavily fined and probably lost some of their lands. A narrow lane roughly follows the northern bank of the reservoir. This cuts across the desolate moors and ends up at Fairlie.